Hola, bienvenidos a esta clase de inglés para noveno año. Hoy vamos a ver el tema de past participle verbs. So, what is a past participle? Past participle is a word that can be used both as a verb or as an adjective to form perfect tenses. And they're used in tenses like the present perfect, past perfect, and future perfect, for example. To make past participle verbs, what we need to understand first is that there are regular and irregular verbs in English. And the difference between these verbs can be seen when we use past tenses. For example, with the past or the past participle, as we're seeing now, is when you can see a difference. In other types of tenses, I mean like present and future, it is not visible the way that it is with past. And the difference between these two, the regular and irregular, is that when they're conjugated in past, they change a little bit. So for regular verbs, we follow a very simple formula. And for irregulars, it is not so simple. And the only way that you can learn this is through memorization. I mean, it is easy, but there's no other way around it. You just have to learn these verbs. There's no pattern. Only you can know this by memorizing them. So first, let's see the regular past participle verbs. And as I said, these are very easy to work with and very simple to conjugate. The only thing that we need to do is add the suffix ed to the infinitive form of the verb. And that's all. And you might notice that this is the same way that we make the simple past verbs. And yes, it is the same. For regular verbs, the simple past and the past participle are always exactly the same. It does not change. So, for example, if the infinitive is want, the simple past would be wanted with ed at the end. And so with the past participle. Infinitive walk, we have walked, and then talk, we have talked, and ask, we have asked. As you can see with all of this, you just add the ed at the end of the verb, and you have both the simple past and the past participle form of this verb. There are a few exceptions. They're very little and very easy. And all you have to know is that if the verb ends with a Y, we just change the Y to an I and add the ed. So for example, with the verb try is T-R-Y, we just change it to tried, T-R-I-E-D. And then the other exception is when we have a verb that already ends in an E, it would make no sense to add another E. So the only thing we do is that we add the D, and that's all. So we have move, and then we add only the D because it already has an E, and it's moved. And some examples of sentences with regular verbs and past participle, the past participle, yes, would be the dog has walked all day and he has always loved this movie. So we have walked and loved. And here is a list of some common regular verbs and their past versions. As we said, the simple past and the past participle is the same. And we have accept, accepted, believe, believed, close, closed, enter, entered, fail, failed, help, helped, need, needed, save, saved, use, used, and work, worked. In the PDF of this lesson, there is a much bigger list with a lot of the most common regular verbs, so you can consult and see when you need. Now let's get into the irregular past participle verbs. And these are a little bit more difficult. And the thing is that what we need to do is we need to know its past form, and to know its past form, we can only memorize it. There's, as I said before, there's no other way. You just have to check a list as the one that you can see on this PDF guide and memorize them. Learn them by heart, by memory. That's the only way. And in the case of the irregular verbs, the simple past and the past participle are different a lot of the time. Not always. Sometimes they're the same, but for most of the time, they're usually different. We have, for example, drink, and the past participle is drunk. As you might know, the simple past version would be drank. So it's drink, drunk, drunk. As you can see in this one, the simple past and the past participle are different. Other example is find. The past participle is found. Then have turns to had, and write turns to written. And here are some examples of sentences with these irregular verbs. We have I have driven around here before, and I have worn this skirt many times already. And here's a little list of some common irregular verbs. We have awake, awoken, be, been, do, done, go, gone, run, run stays the same. This is one of the ones that they stay the same in infinitive, simple past, and past participle. This is a very interesting verb because the three of them are the same. And then lastly, we have speak, spoken. And lastly, let's review some more sentence examples using these verbs, both regular and irregular. We have this book was written by Jane Austen. I have kept a journal since I was a kid. He has proposed to his girlfriend. I have missed you a lot. She was gone before I could call her. And I have understood the assignment. Y eso sería por el video de hoy. Muchas gracias por ver este video y espero que les haya servido. Y nos vemos para la próxima.